Hello, I'm Jake Boudrot, Civic Journalist at Tello Community Television. In this episode of Strait Talk, I was at an announcement on March 13th at the EverWind Fuels facility in Point Tupper, where the company said it was spending $50 million for a new, lower-emission tugboat fleet. After the announcement, I spoke with Claire Parsons, Director of Communications with EverWind, David Hart, Manager of Point Tupper Marine Services, and Energy Minister and Richmond MLA, Trevor Boudreau.
My name is Amanda Mumbercat. I want to thank Claire and the EverWind team for asking me to participate here today. I'm an elected councillor in Richmond County for District 4, and I'm a workforce development manager at the Nova Scotia Community College based here at the Strait Area campus. And so in those capacities, I'm pleased to be a member of the CLC for EverWind and get to hear about all of the exciting progress happening on the project. So today we are celebrating a major milestone in sustainable maritime operations, which of course is close to our heart, being the home of the Nautical Institute at NSCC. This is a milestone that will create good local jobs. It will strengthen our economy and position Nova Scotia as a leader in green shipping. Before we begin, though, I'd like to do a land acknowledgement. So we acknowledge that we are here today on the ancestral and unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people. We also acknowledge the Mi'kmaq as the past, present, and future caretakers of this land. Mi'kmaqi. We are committed to working with the Mi'kmaq and delivering a comprehensive partnership on all aspects of this project. EverWind's Nova Scotia projects include 3 Mi'kmaq equity partners, and they champion meaningful engagement with rights holders and the advancement of social and economic reconciliation. We also recognize that African Nova Scotians are a distinct people whose histories, legacies, and contributions have enriched that part of Mi'kmaqi, known as Nova Scotia, for over 400 years. So now, to kick things off, I would like to invite EverWind's Director of Communications back over, Claire Parsons, to share some more exciting news about this investment today.
Thank you, Amanda, and good morning, everyone. We are gathered here at Point Tupper, a region that plays a critical role in Nova Scotia's energy and trade infrastructure. Today, EverWind is proud to announce a $50 million investment in a state-of-the-art, lower emissions tugboat fleet that will modernize maritime operations, support the future transportation of green hydrogen and ammonia, and create good long-term jobs right here in the Strait of Canso. This is one of the largest private sector investments in the region in the last 50 years. With this investment, we are not only strengthening the local economy, but we are also reinforcing Canada's leadership in green shipping and clean energy exports. At a time of economic uncertainty, it is more important than ever to deploy capital in projects that create stability, strengthen infrastructure, and open new opportunities for trade. EverWind remains confident in Nova Scotia's future, and we believe that diversifying the region's trading partners, particularly expanding into global markets like Europe, will help build a resilient economy. By doing so, we are strengthening not only Nova Scotia, but also Canada's position in the global energy transition. These new tugboats will enhance infrastructure reliability for industries operating in the Strait, create at least 15 new skilled jobs, providing long-term opportunities for local workers, position Nova Scotia as a clean energy hub, and reinforce EverWind's commitment to innovation, efficiency, and environmental responsibility. I'd like to thank our partners, employees, and local communities, and all levels of government for this vision. Together, we are building a future where Nova Scotia is at the forefront of green energy and maritime sustainability. And I'd like to welcome Lois Landry, Warden of Richmond County, to speak on what this investment means for the local communities.
Thank you, Claire. It's an honor to be here today to celebrate this major investment in our community. For rural Nova Scotia, projects like these are critical. They bring long-term, good-paying jobs and ensure that the economic benefits of clean energy and sustainable shipping stay right here in our region. EverWind's investment in these tugboats is not just about infrastructure. It's about leveraging the talent and expertise of our local workforce, supporting families, and strengthening our communities for generations to come. On behalf of Richmond County, I want to thank EverWind for their commitment to our region and to a greener, more prosperous future. And now, I'm honored to introduce the Honorable Trevor Boudreau, Minister of Energy for Nova Scotia and MLA for Richmond, to share a few words.
Thank you, Your Worship. And Lois and I have a bit of an inside joke. She struggles calling me Your Honorable or Minister, and it goes back a little bit as Minister of Community Services. But it's great to see so many friendly faces, and it's nice to be kind of doing a bit of a speaking engagement close to home. It's been quite busy the last number of weeks. Certainly, there's a little bit of stuff going on politically around Canada, the US, and certainly here in Nova Scotia. So grateful that I'm here and being able to say a few words. So it's great to be here with everybody today, and there's so many amazing things happening. And actually there's real momentum being built here in Nova Scotia as we move towards becoming a clean energy powerhouse. And there's tremendous opportunity for Nova Scotians in this move. We're making, as I said, the province a clean energy powerhouse and bringing jobs for Nova Scotians and bringing tax revenues for communities. And it will help secure a bright and prosperous future for our province. And pardon the pun, but it'll float all boats. And but today we're here to celebrate another step in EverWind's investment and commitment to our province, an investment of private dollars in our province. And these new tugboats will support the company's green hydrogen exports and other aspects of their operations as well. They represent one of the many, many steps in the development of our green hydrogen industry. And as a province, we're also taking steps for offshore wind that will support this industry as well. And we hit a milestone in January with the Accord Acts that were proclaimed, both federally and provincially. And that means we have the regulatory foundation in place for offshore wind. And now we're full steam ahead to build the rest of our regulatory regime. And we're on track for the first call for bids this year. And both green hydrogen and offshore wind offer all kinds of potential, especially in this neck of the woods. I want to thank Trent and his team here at EverWind for seeing the potential here in the Strait area. I also want to thank the players in the Strait who have come together to support these new sectors, the municipalities, the Chamber of Commerce, the Strait Area Task Force. There's a number of organizations that are certainly here supporting this sector. And I want to assure you all that our government supports that sector too. That's why we developed the Green Hydrogen Action Plan, as well as the Offshore Wind Roadmap. That's why we've updated our legislation, and that's why we're paving the way for success in these industries. We know they're going to create generational wealth for Nova Scotians. They're going to bring our people back home to good paying jobs in rural communities, and they're going to raise everyone up. And I look forward to each and every step as we move forward to take that look at that prosperous future. And I look forward to seeing our natural resources being put to great use. And with that, I look forward to seeing our people thrive. So thank you again for the opportunity to say a few words here today.
Mm-hmm. All right. Thank you very much, Minister. Honorable just rolls right off the tongue. All right. So now to give us a bit of a marine operations perspective, I'm going to call on David Hart from the EverWind team to say a few words.
3 minutes is definitely not going to be enough. Yeah, good morning. It's certainly nice to see some familiar faces in the room today, and thank you all for being here. And I'll tell you, after several decades of terminal management and marine op management, to say this is a milestone is an absolute understatement. The commitment of these assets, to our supporting our existing business and support our growing business and green hydrogen ammonia is, of course, critical in creating safety and service stability for many years to come. We currently serve a number of markets, and we're expanding to do European markets and providing green energy and services to nations as a whole. And to be able to produce green hydrogen and ammonia and be able to move those assets safely and efficiently is critical to our business, and it's important to our customers. Obviously, a couple of people really I have to thank. Obviously, Trent Fici, who took a good look at this and very quickly understood the business need. The economics were part of that, but in his view, it also represents a major, major commitment on our part, demonstrating our commitment not only to the existing facilities, but our growth in the future. Certainly have to thank him for that, and the development team that worked so hard, on the sourcing of these materials and these assets, which are world-class, state-of-the-art assets, and assure that they were on spec and on budget and on time. And certainly I acknowledge one of our own, Melvin Pierce, here today, who's been in tug operations and marine operations for decades, was instrumental in ensuring those goals were met, and the technical specifications were here so that they are purpose-built for this terminal and for this port and for our future use. And I'm also very pleased to announce that Melvin, moving forward, will have a major role in managing these assets, and we're all very proud of that, and we'll know he'll do a very, very good job. And having said that, thank you again for being here, and I'm going to turn the table back to Amanda and for the next set. So thank you all very much.
Well timed, Mr. Hart. Excellent. Thank you, David. So now the moment we've all been waiting for. We are excited to unveil the official renderings of EverWind's new tugboat fleet. I'm going to ask Melvin to help out here. These vessels will enhance the port capabilities, reduce emissions, and support the future of clean energy exports from Nova Scotia to Europe. So exciting indeed. So I'm going to assist. We'll pull these off, not knock them down.
You pull it down.
Okay. There we go. Yay! Beautiful. I can't wait to see them in real life. I'm going to be looking for a drive on one of those. These state-of-the-art vessels will arrive in the summer of 2025, which is just around the corner, believe it or not, and they are built to meet the highest international environmental standards. This is a huge step forward for green shipping in our region. It's exciting to see these vessels operating in the Strait of Canso, and which is one of the deepest ice-free harbors on the eastern seaboard, and an asset of which we are very proud in this region. So that concludes our official program. Thank you all for being here. To celebrate this exciting milestone for EverWind and the Strait of Canso. If the media has any questions, I will direct you to both Claire Parsons and Mark Stewart. And we encourage everyone to take a look at the renderings on display here. Thank you for your time, and we look forward to seeing these vessels in action later this year, and we'll celebrate accordingly when they arrive. So thank you very much, everyone.
So this is in regards to the tug fleet. So how does it complement and how does it serve the overall operation?
Yeah, so it will continue to service the existing operations within the Strait. But once we get our green energy up and running, or renewable energy up and running, it will help with the movement of our green hydrogen and ammonia export as well.
Can you talk about the importance of ultimately replacing that fleet, which I understand, according to the release, has vessels dating back to 1992, 1994. Can you talk a bit just simply about the importance of replacing those older vessels?
Yeah, it's very important as these are very high tech vessels. These are also an investment in Nova Scotia. So these are locally owned and operated, giving good jobs to locals.
Are these electric vessels and tugboats?
No. So they will be operating on conventional fuel, but we will be working with our maritime partners to hopefully ship them to electric or green ammonia once we have our renewable energy up and running.
Recent announcement actually that the federal government is giving $250,000 to the Strait of Canso Superport Corporation to build charging stations for electric vessels. Does that help this particular process along in terms of being able to have electric vessels ready to roll?
I can't speak to that right now. I'm sorry.
That's okay. No worries.
I think you're referring to the money for the
Yes,
Superport.
yeah.
They're getting to put charging stations up
Yes.
for electric vessels. I think is what he's talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway.
Yeah, no.
But
that's-
right now these vessels run on conventional fuel.
Right.
They are more fuel efficient. They're cutting and emission better on emissions as well. They're cutting nitrogen oxide by around 80% and CO2 by 25%.
So when can we expect to see these vessels arrive here?
Summer 2025. We don't have an exact date yet, as these things take time, but they will be here this summer.
Are there any other aspects of the operation that you're looking to make greener as well, or more greener than what conventionally would be considered not green?
Well, overall, our entire project, producing renewable energy, green hydrogen, and green ammonia.
Yeah, I guess I think what I was talking maybe like electric vehicles, like trucks, or any aspects of this operation, like a facility, like maybe solar powered or things like that.
Yeah, we're always looking for opportunities to innovate and work on our environmental sustainability. So nothing is out of question right now, but at this time, I can't speak to that.
Comment by the energy minister this morning about we're not sure if you know that there have been some things happening in politics lately, but also some discussion on European markets for green energy. Is EverWind pivoting at all in terms of what's happening in terms of the tariffs between Canada and the US, or is it business as usual?
Business as usual for us. We are in a good position with great trading partners in Europe.
Particularly the deal announced last August in terms of Canada and Germany being able to have a green energy and green hydrogen corridor over the next little bit.
Yes, that is the hope.
So you started your remarks by saying 3 minutes is not going to be long enough to talk about all of this, but we'll give you a couple of minutes here anyway. Just basically, what significance is this announcement for EverWind and for local shipping here?
Well, absolutely. I think it obviously most importantly identifies a commitment to the existing terminal and growth and supporting our development and new asset. Damen is a world leader in tug design and operation, and I think it represents a best in class and world-class assets to support operations and the needs of our customers in creating sustainable operations and to move product in and out of the port safely. So it's a significant improvement.
Yeah. What makes these vessels different from the ones they're eventually going to be replacing?
Great question. I mean, the assets we've had, we've agreements over the last number of years. Those assets are certainly maturing. Some of those assets are 20, 30 years old. These new vessels are state-of-the-art, high efficiency, and certainly going to provide more durability and consistency, over the next number of years, in terms of providing services to our users and our customers.
How do these new vessels fit? I mean, how do tugs in general, I guess, fit in your overall operation? What do they do on a day-to-day basis for
Great
those
question.
who might not know?
So, Point Tupper Marine Services is basically the marine end of the EverWind company, and what we do is provide logistics support for the terminal and the vessels using the terminal on a daily basis. So we escort the vessels, the transiting the port, and support the berthing, the unberthing of vessels with the tugs and the assets that we're proposing on buying. So it's an integral part of the logisticals of moving vessels and cargoes in and out of the terminal and the port.
Now, in a way, this is not new for you in terms of overseeing an operation like this. Of course, you have your years with New Star, but can you give me a sense, just basically, I had it and then I lost it. Sorry. Can you give me a sense on, based on your experience, coming here and being able to see these kinds of vessels going forward and taking EverWind a step further?
Well, I think like I said earlier, it creates sustainability. It creates confidence in our users. It creates confidence in our customers that we can say what we do and do what we say, and deliver and move those products safely to and from the terminal and in and out of the port. So that's what they're meant for.
Just ask you to get your reaction on making this good news announcement here in your riding and in this region. Something that sounds like it's good for the operation, good for the area.
Absolutely. I mean, anytime you have an announcement in your local area that is a commitment to continuing operations and to growing an industry, it's a good news story. And as Minister of Energy, this is right up my alley too. When we talk about our desire to be green, energy powerhouse, this is what we're talking about, the hydrogen industry, and I mentioned it a little bit, the offshore wind. So this is exactly the type of investment we want to see. It's private investment. Our role as provincial government is to create the enabling environment and allow industry to kind of do their thing, and that's exactly what we're seeing here.
You've presided over a few of these announcements, both for EverWind and for green hydrogen in general, both as the MLA for Richmond and now as Energy Minister. Where do you feel this one ranks in terms of having the building blocks created both for the company and for the industry in general around here?
Oh, it's certainly high up. I think as they move forward, they stagger, and you see that continued growth, right? That continued investment that a company puts forth. It's encouraging because, oftentimes we'll hear, there's somebody interested in the region or in a certain sector, and you don't necessarily see those investments. But we're seeing that here, and we're seeing the opportunity, and we're very proud of the work that the local staff have worked on this. But also to thank Trent and his group who've come in, purchased the facility here and want to expand. So very pleased with that.
Now, I don't know if it's criticism or some skepticism's been expressed about this project, and others, some people just don't see the tangibility of it, that it's real. Do you feel that announcements like this make it more real and make it, appear that things are moving in the right direction, to sort of kind of counter that skepticism?
Yeah, I think a bit of healthy skepticism is always good, right? You want to say, what's the art of the possible? But at the end of the day, when you have companies investing in their operations, investing in infrastructure, doing all of the legwork that they need to require to make that commitment, that financial commitment, it's a good news story. And I think as these types of announcements and investments happen, it makes people say, okay, this, what is it about this that I'm maybe missing the point on? And it's about making sure people are understanding what the art of the possible is. And I've said that a few times, but I think the Strait region, we've seen lots of potential, and we know the potential. The communities here and the people here know the potential we have, and seeing it come to fruition sometimes is hard because sometimes it hadn't in the past.
According to a press release issued by EverWind, the state-of-the-art vessels are required to facilitate specialized operations associated with the transportation of green hydrogen and ammonia produced at Point Tupper, which the company hopes will establish a regional export hub to reach lucrative clean fuel markets. EverWind said the vessels will continue to be used to support existing industries operating in the Strait of Canso, serving as a valuable asset in the local marine sector. Purpose-built and designed for local use, EverWind said the new tugboats will be in full compliance with International Maritime Organization Tier 3 emission standards, the most stringent emission standards for the international marine industry. These standards were designed to improve air quality and protect public health by controlling emissions from ships, the company said, noting that greenhouse gas emissions from the new vessels will be significantly lower than the current fleet, delivering a reduction of approximately 80% in nitrogen oxides and 25% in carbon dioxide. The new fleet of vessels will consist of a Damen ASD 3212 tug and two Damen RSD 2513 tugs. Damen was selected to build the new fleet after an extensive selection process, EverWind noted. The vessels will measure 32 meters and 25 meters in length, with 80 tons and 65 tons of bollard pull, providing greater maneuverability and power to the Strait of Canso maritime operations. EverWind said it is working with its maritime partners on a long-term plan to further transition its tugboats towards zero carbon emissions as EverWind's renewable power generation and ammonia production projects come online. Point Tupper Marine Terminal plays a vital role in supporting safe, efficient maritime operations with its critical infrastructure, EverWind said, noting that its new low-emission vehicles will strengthen port capabilities while maintaining a strong commitment to environmental stewardship and delivering tangible economic benefits to Strait area communities. Trent Vichy, founder and CEO of EverWind, said this investment is a critical step in enabling large-scale green hydrogen and ammonia production with its international partners. By integrating new advanced tugboats into its operations, following the strictest IMO emission standards, EverWind said it is ensuring safe, efficient, and sustainable maritime logistics that support the international transition to clean energy. Vichy added that EverWind is proud to lead the charge in building the infrastructure needed to position Nova Scotia as a key global hub for green hydrogen and ammonia exports. Mike Kellaway, Member of Parliament for Cape Breton Canso, called the announcement a testament to the positive impact that innovative technologies can have on the environment and local communities. The MP said supporting cleaner maritime transportation not only creates jobs and strengthens the economy, but also ensures a more sustainable future for Cape Breton Island. Port Hawkesbury Mayor Brenda Chisholm-Beaton said it's great news for the community, creating new, good, long-term jobs and strengthening the local economy. The Strait of Canso has long been a hub for industry and innovation, and these new vessels will ensure that tradition continues while paving the way for future clean energy development, she said. The mayor noted that this project is a key step in building a stronger, more sustainable future for the region, and said she's excited to see the opportunities it will bring for local workers, businesses, and families. Since the announcement, an article in a provincial media source claimed that the $50 million announced for the 3 tugboats is connected to a funding announcement that was made last fall by Transport Canada. Just to clarify, is this money that the company is investing itself, or is this government money that purchased these tugboats?
Yeah, thanks, Jake. That's a great question. So the entirety of the funding for the tugboats is being committed by EverWind. While EverWind was awarded funding from Transport Canada's Green Shipping Corridors Fund, negotiations for the final contribution agreement are still ongoing, and it remains premature to confirm whether that funding will be used to support the tugboat acquisition, as the funding has not yet been provided. The eligible expenditures under discussion include the ammonia transportation pipeline, ammonia loading arms, other wharf upgrades necessary to support green fuel shipping, as well as the new tugboat fleet. So if completed, this funding would be contingent on EverWind meeting specific project milestones. But as of now, this investment is 100% being funded by EverWind.
Now, this same article I'm referencing also questioned whether the tugboats could be considered green. How does EverWind respond to that assertion?
Yeah, so this fleet of tugboats are lower emissions, but they do run on conventional fuels. They are super modern with fuel-efficient engines. They meet the highest emission standards, Tier 3, set by the International Maritime Organization, which is a specialized agency of the United Nations, and sets global standards for security, safety, and environmental performance for international shipping. The current fleet of tugboats that EverWind contracts were built in 1992 and 2004. They are well over 20 years old. Technology since they were built has come a long way, especially when it comes to engines.
And this in particular, nitrogen oxide emissions are significantly lower. The technology we are using essentially scrubs the nitrous from the exhaust before it's emitted into the air. As a hazardous engine emission, nitrogen oxide is a concern for several reasons. It is responsible for respiratory illnesses in humans and the formation of greenhouse gases, which is contributing to the problem of climate change.
Specifically, why aren't the tugboats running on green, cleaner fuels instead of using fossil fuels?
So we want the tugboats to eventually be run on our green fuels, ideally green ammonia. But we need the tugboats before we can begin the production of green hydrogen and ammonia to assist with the construction of our wind power and hydrogen plant. So until then, high efficiency conventional fuels is the best option. We currently are working with our maritime partners on a long-term plan to transition the tugs to electric or green ammonia fuel. But as I mentioned, we need the tugboats to support the construction of these projects to get our green fuels up and running. So then why not move to electric? Well, until our wind power is up and running, our terminal power is coming from the grid, which is currently uses coal to generate power, which would then still make the tugboats non-environmentally friendly. Even if they were electric and zero emissions, they are still coming from a dirty energy source. So conventional fuels at this time is our best option. And we do want to transition them to using our green ammonia.
So how do you respond to the statement in the article that EverWind's only real business right now is the shipping and storage of fossil fuels?
We do own a facility, and that was the one of the first steps in developing a green hydrogen and green ammonia plant. We needed a place with a good deep port, and that was the Strait of Canso. It's essentially like we will be building a separate hydrogen plant there so that we can be exporting our green hydrogen and ammonia.
So the article says that EverWind has not reached a final investment decision on whether it is proceeding with the project in Point Tupper. Is it correct to say that? And if so, when will that decision be reached?
Yeah, so that is correct. We haven't reached FID or a final investment decision. We are targeting FID before the end of this year. And then construction on our phase 1 wind farms will begin in as early as 2026. And then our hydrogen production plant at our Point Tupper facility will begin construction the first half of 2026.
What is the company's response that this Canadian money, government money, is going to the hands of a subsidiary of New York-based companies?
Yeah. EverWind is a Canadian company that pays Canadian taxes. We will be generating and contributing to the local economy due with Point Tupper, and we will as the second largest employer in the Strait area, and we will continue to invest in Nova Scotia. To date, we have invested over 200 million in infrastructure engineering and development across Nova Scotia as well as Newfoundland. And we're committed to supporting Canada.
Thank you for watching Strait Talk. Please tune in again to find out what we will be talking about.